Building an annuity, IUL, or advanced market agency and scaling it and having multiple agents doing $1 million a year and issue paid commissions or payouts is exactly what we've been able to do with William Rapp over the past 3.5 years. My name is Trey. I am the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past almost 4 years, we've been able to help 550 agents hit 40K a month. And today, I'm going to be breaking down literally my second client ever, still work with him to this day. I'm going to be showing you what he does, why it works, and also kind of like some thought processes and uh, methodologies that if you are an advanced market specialist looking to build your own system or looking to leverage teams and talent, I'm going to walk you through what we've done together and how it works. So as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's hop straight into the video and let's get started. So first things first, everybody watching, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. So I will not be recording content on Thursday or Friday. I will be taking some time off because that's a blessing when you own your own business. You can do what you want, when you want, and how you want to do it. So this is going to be my last video until we get back on Monday. But I'm going to do a great one, and so it'll probably be a little bit longer. So stick with me, just because I'm going to be going through a lot of details. I think it's super important. So there's two videos I have with Scotty. The second one, by the way, like it didn't get loaded. I don't really know how that happened. You'll hear me call him Scotty, by the way. His name's William Rapp. He owns exclusive annuities. You can check him out. Like they crush it. Like a lot of the stuff, honestly, I take credit for generating the leads, but honestly, Scotty is amazing. He's the best client you could ask for. We've been rocking since day one. I'm going to go a little bit into our story, but if you guys want to see the full video of him explain websites, go to agentleadlab.com/trainings, full interviews. You can look at it amongst the others, and exactly him breaking it down. This is one of the meetings. We had another one that's also on our Agent Lead Lab website. But for the sake of that, he actually walks through like what we're doing. We brought two and we'll probably have more because honestly, like I think the value that's provided between the two of us and how agents can learn to like scale and grow is super important. And we are working together and building, helping advanced market agents, IUL and annuity agents continue to grow. We've been working together for a long time. I have a lot of people that I network with. There's another individual that I work with as well. And essentially, like they play different roles, but I think it's super important if you're an agent to understand and have good relationships. And I think it's the first thing before we hop in is like the purpose of this video is going to be like if you're somebody who doesn't know what we do or who we are, we help agents from final expense and vet all the way up to annuity. Basically, create systems. But we also provide leads. Now, the cool thing is, or I guess the bad thing, if you're an annuity agent, and the good thing at the same time is we don't generate leads specifically for annuity agents a la carte. So if you go to our website, Lead Lab CRM, you're going to see we don't have those. And the reason being is because we found that like personal branding, you have to, essentially do our Apex package in order to get access to that. At least from us. From other companies, you can buy annuity leads. I have never really heard great things about it because people don't trust things that they can't see, right? So let's go ahead and hop right in. So his name's William Rapp. I'm going to talk a few things, right? He runs an advanced market agency. Okay. He's got kind of what he's doing that's super useful is like, he's got people from every different, IMO and company coming to actually like work with him. And the cool thing is because they're coming to work with him, he's teaching them his methodologies, his thought processes, which if you're interested, you can literally go to Exclusive Annuities Instagram page and just DM them directly. I actually get no money for that, guys, just to let you know. He's just my close friend and like I trust him. And I know if you do business with him, you will also, make a lot of money. So he runs an advanced market agency, right? He has multiple producers, or, if we want to call them advisors, we want to be sticky on names, making seven figures, right? Including himself. He's been able to duplicate this process. And really today, the purpose of the videos, I'm going to go through his case study. So let's talk about the journey. All right. So a little bit about Scotty for people that don't know. Once again, if you hear me say Scotty, that's who he is. That's what I call him. So I've known him since I met him. Right. So like previously to working with us, he's worked and done a lot of more like entrepreneurial things. So very important, right? So we'll talk about his journey. It's like mindset. So before we met, he already had the proper mindset to make 40K, to make 50K, and to be $1 million a month agency owner. Right now, we'll talk in how he kind of pivoted, but I want to talk about like he had that mindset from the beginning. It's not like I gave him that, or like he was just like one all of a day suddenly popped up. I recorded a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, it might have been Monday. talking about the number one thing that determines people. They think it's funnels, they think it's leads, they think it's systems and AI. It's just your mindset, man. Like there's some people that don't use anything but Google Sheets and like old school. They run it up. There's people that do warm marketing and run it up. The thing about him is that before we met, he already had the mindset. So I didn't come in and like inherently do anything special. It was already him working and getting things done. Like he already knew in his mind, like, okay, I have to do this. I have to do this. So when we met, essentially what happened was a little bit about his journey, right? So he had the mindset previously, right? He had experience in betting on himself. And I'm super big on that because like, yes, we can talk about all the money he makes. You can go watch the video, but like if you think that you're just gonna join his group and not put in the work, like that doesn't matter. If you think that you're gonna start running IULs or annuities and not put in the work, it doesn't matter. Like, and we're gonna talk about the time that it took him to get there. So on journey, I want to talk about something. So there was a point like when we met. Now I'm super big on this because I think a lot of people, like I'm a person where I rinse and repeat things, but when people come to me and they have really big things they're trying to solve, right? Like they're like, hey, dude, I don't want to just make like 30, 40K like everybody else. Like I want to build something. Then it takes time. So when we met, he was my second client. Okay. So my first client, for all of you that know, was Austin Jones. My boy, we're super close. He was my first client. Then I met Scotty, who was with Austin, and it was his downline, if you want to call it. So he's my second client, and I met another person who I won't name their name, but those are kind of like my three first clients, and I made them all a lot of money, and we all worked together. But like the purpose of me saying that is, when he's my second client, like I didn't know much. I didn't know much, but I was willing to sacrifice and put time in. So it literally, like I'm super transparent. We worked, I think it was like this time or whatever, how many years ago. And we worked together. And his first month, he didn't do anything. Like it was bad. Like the leads weren't that great. And then literally we transitioned from that to then we started having much better success. But I remember it was like yesterday. I'm driving in my car. I'm headed back home. I get a call. He's like, hey, brother, like, I'm not going to lie. This isn't really working. But like, what can we do to make it right? Because I believe in you. And I was like, yo, I appreciate it. I'm like, all right, bro, just give me like 2 more weeks, bro. Like, I won't charge you, whatever. So I was like, dude, just pay for the ad spend. Like, we're good. Because he was my first paid client, his second paid client. I apologize. Right. So like at the time, I'm like, hey, let's figure it out. So I personally was like, hey, super important for you to like me, meaning personally like me, to be willing to take a loss, right? And I was some people was like willing to take a loss. Like you what I learned is that the moment that you're willing to do that, people trust you a lot more because then they know it's not really about the money. Because if it was about the money, you would say, hey man, I got to get paid, man, but I'll keep working. It's like people can feel that. If you then start with like, hey man, like it's not about the money. Let's make sure that we get this right. And when we do, like we can talk about it. Then people appreciate that. And that's part of the reason why I think we worked together so long. It's just like over time, you're like, okay, cool. This person is really trying to do what's best for me at the end of the day. So what we established was I was like, hey, I'll take a loss. The next month, I made a bunch of adjustments. We locked in, and then the rest is history. Okay. His first month after us making that adjustment, so like first month later, he has his best month. I think he did like 25K in AP, right? And I think it was like 18 in IP or something like that, right? And then second month, right, he ends up doing, I think it was 45K. And then basically every month afterwards, made it was like $50,000 to $70,000 a month. Okay. Now, here's the thing that about him that is super important that you all need to take away if you're watching this video. The biggest jump was about 4 or 5 months in. He was like, hey man, let's run ads. Because I had told him I was having success with another client. At this point, I probably went from those 4 or 5 clients to about like 15 pretty fast. So at this point, I had a client that was my upline previously. I think there's videos with him on my website as well. And we were running infinite banking and IUL marketing. This is like way before everybody else was doing it. Like, wait, I'm talking about like there wasn't even any ads on the ad library showing you how to do it. So I had told him, like, dude, if you can figure this out, this would be a good jump for you because you're going to make way more money a lot quicker and you're going to have much better clients. So we recorded an ad together. And this was my first experience with like personalized marketing. We put the ad up and it was crushing. That thing printed for like 9 months. We didn't change anything. It was just absolutely crushing over and over and over again. Moral of the story was the jump, right? So I always say it's called the jump because it's really simple. It's like, moving from lead type / demographic. You all know I talk about that a lot. To another. Now, the reason why you make this move is simply because you want leverage. You have to. You want leverage. If you don't want leverage, you stay at the type you're at. But if you want leverage and you want more consistency and you don't want to have to be like, oh man, I don't know what's going to happen and a bunch of chargebacks and whoop-de-whoop, because he was already final expense doing 45K. I'm like, dude, you're working. But if we could transition you to IUL or a blended approach, you've got your day to day that you can call, and then you've got these other clients coming in that like slowly drip, and they might be a little bit more expensive, but like they're more qualified, and you get more out. Well, we do the whole year, and then the next year he's like, "Yo, I kind of want to move to like annuities," and he said, "Do you know how to do that?" And at the time, I'm gonna be transparent, I didn't, and I literally told him, bro, you should go work with somebody else. You should really go work with somebody else because I don't think that I have the skill set to meet your need, and I don't want to burn the relationship bridge because of that. So my recommendation is that you go somewhere else, brother, and it's okay. I'm not mad. During that time, we still work together, but he went out and worked with somebody that like specialized in that. So we were still setting up like filing expense, doing a bunch of stuff for his agents, whatever. And to me, it speaks volumes to relationships as we scale. And it also speaks volume from lead type to lead type because in the life insurance game, annuity is the highest level you can go to. It doesn't go any higher. I mean, yes, there are people that do like higher strategies, right? Like they can do, life insurance policies for an entire company. They can work with, super, super premium clients, that might be, of status and have to move, multiple millions of dollars, if not like, like those type of individuals. Yes. But theoretically for the traditional producer, annuity is the highest level that you can reach. To go from final expense to annuity in a 2-year time span is phenomenal, to say the least. The reason why it's phenomenal is because as an agent, if you're moving up tiers, you're constantly challenging yourself. So people look at, Scotty, and they say, hey, man, how do I do the same thing? Okay, well, there's a few things that you have to realize, okay? Let's talk about investment, all right? So at the time, I think he was spending like $5,500 a month with me. I want to say it might have been more than that, but I might be. So he's dropping at least like 70 bands, probably 66,000, 67,000, whatever that is now. $500 a month times 12 is 6,000. 5,000, yeah, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. Yeah. So $66,000. Basically, let's just call it 70, right? $70,000 for the year just to me, not including all his like subscriptions, things that he was using for automated messages, which we will go back to because I just realized that too, right? So that's just on leads, okay? Right? And he's going for premium leads and 2 lead types. To what? Learn. He's not like people look at like when you're making that jump, people look at like, oh man, I don't want to go from. I had a conversation with a guy yesterday. We got a new guy in our program. Come to me. He runs veteran leads. We were talking. He was like, dude, I watch your YouTube. We communicated. I was like, hey, look, man, this is what I recommend that you do. Was a little nervous. I was like, I'll provide you with the resources if you need to speak to some of our top clients. I'll make sure that we can get you in contact with them. But understand that if you want leverage, like he's like, yeah, man, well, I'm doing this, I'm making a lot of money, but this, and I got a call a million times. It's like, I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever your process is, that's fine. You have three options. Okay. Option one, you keep doing exactly what you're doing. You will make money, but you will always know that there's a better way to make money and a more efficient way to make money. You're always gonna have to dial all day long. Your skill will never replace your time, right? Which is leverage. If you like, in the simplest form from a sales rep standpoint, right? Because theoretically, right, like you could be your skills could only get you to know how to do like door-to-door sales, but if you took those same skills and applied it to the right market, I apologize, your skills do not match your market. Let me take that back. Your skills don't match your market, meaning that you could be the best sales rep in the world, but if you're in the wrong market, you're doing door-to-door, your time is constrained. Now, if your skills do match that and you go to a better market, so you're going for maybe digital and then you go for like high ticket, you got less leads, you make more money in the amount of time that you spend. Well, in the life insurance space, it's like that for every lead type as you go up, as I mentioned. So at option one, you can keep doing what you're doing and making money, but you're in the wrong market to make money more efficiently. I was like, number two, right? You can just absolutely jump ship, say screw that, and go all in on this. But that is the highest leverage. Now you will get there faster, and by faster I just mean time. It's like how fast do you want to get there? And I might record another video. How fast do you want to get there? Actually, you know what? Pause this real quick. All right, perfect. So I am going to do that. So how fast do you want to get there, right? And what that basically means is you are willing to spend money and treat it like an investment, which is why I stopped here at investment. You're going to treat it like an investment, meaning that I'm paying to basically learn. So think about a mentorship, right? Like you spend, hey, 30, 40, 50, 100, $200,000 on mentorship or consulting or whatever over a year's time spent. When you spend that money, you're basically just saying that like I'm willing to pay to have the time it takes to get where I'm trying to go cut down. That's all it is. You're just paying, like you can talk to this person, they can understand your situation, they can tell you to go right instead of going left. And the more times that you keep going right, you're eventually going to end up at the destination, or they tell you to go straight, or they tell you to stop or reverse. When you do it on your own, you're like, do I go right or left? Maybe it's a 50-50 toss up every time. It's like, okay, 50, okay, I'm going right. It worked. All right. At the fork road again, go right or go left. Okay, go fast or go slow, right? Stop here or keep going. Fill up the gap. Like all these micro decisions are leading you in the same direction. You say, hey, I want to make this much per month, or I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to get to this goal. And that's not just financially. That's like relationship wise. I want a better marriage. You're kind of like, you're not paying for mentorship, but like you're paying for somebody. So when you exchange that money, when it comes to information that somebody's giving you to help you go in a specific direction or get to a goal, that's all you're doing. The difference in the life insurance space, though, is instead of you paying for that, because yes, you can sit here and teach somebody how to sell all day, but they have to get reps to get better. So you can give them direction, like you guys are listening to me, but until you go out and buy the leads, fall on your face, and then get better, you're not going to know. Like you're going to sit there. Well, sorry, you will know, but you'll never learn and be able to get over that hump. It's not just a matter of like, oh, I made a decision and like all things change. The first step is you already know that. You don't have to pay anybody for that. It's very clear that there are different lead types, and people will tell you like, yeah, you can make more money doing this. It's simple. It's like, okay, people then have to associate that decision with an investment rather than with buying leads and losing money. This is just the way you frame it. Because if I told you, hey man, look, you're gonna spend $10,000, and for the next month, you're not gonna make any. But the month after that, you're gonna make 30K. I have a video where I went through that, and I actually showed exactly how much you make in the difference when you do a specific lead type, and how over time it compounds better. And it doesn't matter what you can insert whatever lead type, because you got to factor in chargebacks. People think that it's like, yeah, I'm making all this money. It's like, okay. Let's take a step back. You're saying that and you want to make a higher annual premium, but like you're not really, the business isn't sticking. There's a lot of agents coming behind you underwriting, and like the leads get worse. It's like, okay, so what decision do you want to make? Because in my mind, I make the decision that's a little bit more consistent. The way I look at it is, I told him the second option. So first option is, hey, you just keep doing what you're doing, but you know there's more opportunity out there, but you just keep doing what you're doing. The second option is you just completely jump ship. And that's really going to be like for your risk takers who like if you have $5,000-$10,000 to lose, let's do it. Like we can run it. We can literally just put it up. We'll put it into marketing. We'll get you some leads, and you're just going to fail by learning. And that's the quickest way to get through it, because now it'll take you a month. The third option is it'll probably take you like not a month. It could take you like 2 weeks theoretically in the second option, depending on how much you spend, how many leads you get, and how much time you put into learning. But the third option is, why don't we just keep doing what we're doing, and slowly wane off of it, right? Because we talked about, hey, like your family, like all this other stuff, and I was super transparent about it. And I was like, hey man, like I recommend maybe the third option. If you were like single and younger and had no kids, no wife, whatever, it's like, okay, cool. Well, then do option two, because like you have nothing to lose. You can eat whatever you need to eat to survive. You can pay whatever rent, like it doesn't matter. Then when you get there, you're good. You have like a lot of liabilities theoretically. I'm not trying to call your family a liability, but I mean like they depend on you, or however you want to say it. You get the point. But option three, basically keep doing what you're doing, but like dwindle it down. So if you're spending, $1,000 on vets, go to like 800, go to 750 eventually, and then put some money towards, like more. The conversation was about mortgage, so mortgage protection, right? Continue to learn that skill, but invest slowly and be willing to lose the money. And I think that's the biggest thing is like with Scotty, going back to him, like he was willing to lose the money. Like you got it, because that's when you pay for mentorship, when you join groups, when you go to events, like you have to be willing to lose the money. It's not always going to work. I think that's the fear that a lot of people have, and the thing that he didn't have. And I think that goes back to, it was literally just his experience of betting on himself. Like if you don't have this before getting in the game, you got to get it when you get in the game. And sometimes people are nervous because they do have, once again, that option three where it's like, dude, I got these liabilities, I got people, I got bills, and like everybody has bills, but how much risk can you take is basically what I'm saying. Like the less risk you can take, the option you need to pick is the one where you wane and it takes longer. The more risk you can take, the quicker you can just be like, okay, let's just get it over with and like let's just complete it. Now in a perfect world, everybody would choose option two because you'd get there a lot faster. But that's not the way that our minds think, and that's also not the situation of everybody, because everybody's in different spots in their life, which allows them to then say, hey, this is probably going to be the best option for me based on where I'm at. Right. So the purpose of what I'm trying to say is like the second thing is how much he was spending on like that. That's the jump. Right. And I may record a whole video just like kind of going into the details of that and like what it looks like for each of those phases, or I guess each of those options that we have to make, because all of those options typically come down to those three things. So going back to him, he was like, look, man, I'm going to spend $5,500 a month. And at first, he wasn't great at doing IULs, like, of course, but guess what he did? He studied, he put the time in, right? And to me, the next thing is going to be your time investment, right? This to me is the one that a lot of people, it's the how do I say this? Like you can track it, but it's a you versus you, right? That's all I'll say, you versus you. And what I mean by that is you decide how much time you put into it. Like when you ride in the car, are you listening to music, or are you listening to YouTube videos of people talking about how to properly structure? And I'm not even gonna say IULs because he knows how to do everything. Whole life plans, IULs, like it's not, I'm just using that for sake of understanding. You guys get it. How to structure life insurance for retirement options, right? You can choose whether or not when you're in the car, you do that. If you either choose to do it or not to do it. It's not like money. When you put the money out there, the money's out there. It's gone. Like it's a simpler way to invest because it's purely dependent on the money that you have. The time investment isn't dependent on the type of person you are. So the cool thing is, let's say you don't have any, you're like, dude, I love this video, but I don't have any money, Trey. Like, what do I do? It's like, okay, let's just keep it super simple. You can buy older leads or ask people for leads and just start working even the current leads and start trying to find out where the money is. There's tons of questions that you can ask, right? And just start getting reps that way. And you can still watch the videos in your spare time, right? Let's say you're like, dude, I can't afford to pay for these leads. I'm going to just keep working the age leads or whatever leads. And then I'm going to eventually get to the premium or start building my own system. But the you don't have to be there to put this investment in. That's the cool thing. You don't have to have the money yet to do that. So you could be spending $1,000 a month, but be still willing to learn how to do it. Most people aren't willing to do that though. So it's like there's tons of videos out there, right? That you could study. And like he even said, like I just used to watch videos all day long. That's it. I just used to study. I failed for a long time. Even when he got into the annuity game, it took him 7-8 months. I think it was until he like really got it. And he was like, yo, bro, like I think I understand this. So if you're an agent trying to make that jump, like you have to be willing to invest. That's the time investment. So you got the lead investment, you got the time investment, then you got the system investment. Okay. So when he started, it was just basic systems, right? Like basic SMS and email automation, just something simple. Like it was like, yo, I need something that kind of like will track my data and like send stuff out. And he still uses the same one to this day. And it's super straightforward. It's like you don't need to have anything complex if you're just focusing on the small, consistent details, which is like, I need booked appointments, I need reminders. That's about it. Everything else is pretty streamlined. So if I can do those two things, like we're good. I don't need to trip. So most of the time, we want to and by system, like if you don't want to pay for one, you don't have to. Go back to what I said. Like if you're like somebody's, hey, I just do everything manually, that works too. That's still a system. That's just your system. When I say system, I mean like AI, automated text messages, workflows, SMS reminders, stuff like that. Only is only important because he's spending so much on leads and he's getting final expense and IUL, or tax free leads, that you gotta have some way to like follow up, because it gets different. If you're working one lead type and like you're not really getting that many leads per week, or you're doing like super premium leads, then that's cool. Now, when we got into the annuity game, it's still there because you have to follow up. It's not a one call close. It's multiple, 2-3 calls typically. So the process is a little bit longer. I said that to say that the more you understand that, the more you can think through like, okay, what system fits me for where I'm at? That was his system. I urge you, if you are doing IULs or annuity, that you need a system. Why? Because to me, I talked about this previously in the demographic video. So when you get to a specific demographic, they have behaviors. And when you're dealing with people who are typically looking for like tax-free retirement options, they're a working class, they want email reminders. They want SMS reminders. They typically are not one call closes. They will miss meetings. Their follow up is a real thing. They do have kids. Like real life hits them a little bit harder than it does when you're like on Social Security or at the house. Just being honest, like you're more readily available. So because of that, you just have to prepare yourself, and that requires you to have like messages, or they're just not going to show up. Like it's like working with business owners. Like if you didn't send out an automated text, it's like, okay, like it's not on my calendar, so I don't see it. And it's not because they don't care. It's really just because like I didn't get a reminder. Like how am I supposed to know? So a lot of times it's just in the small things, like the text reminders, the notifications, like the ability for them to be able to click and reschedule. Like all these things are important. A lot of times we just don't look at them because we're like, like this has always worked for me. And once again, if that works and you have a very dialed in system, by dialed in, I mean like your show rate is 90+%, then like cool. If you're getting like 60% show rate, dude, you need to switch some things up. That's the easiest way to explain. Okay. So that's the investment. Now, probably the thing that I think is the most underrated is sales skill. Now, to me, this goes into time investment. That's the you versus you. But let's talk about this. If you cannot sell, do not think that you just moving to advanced market is just going to solve your problem. That is like, that's one thing that really, bothers me about this industry, that I'm looking to help people with now, is like, your problems with leads are not going to be solved by you moving to another lead. The problems are just going to change. So for example, if you struggle with closing people and final expense for higher premiums, you moving to another lead type to close at higher premium should not necessarily just be your sole goal. It should go back to, why are you moving there? For leverage. It's not always supposed to be like, hey, I'm moving there because I want to make higher AP per person. Yes, that is going to happen for sure. And I think that's a very strong reason to do it. But it should be about the leverage. I should be getting higher intent clients, having to do less in regards to like pulling their hair, improving my skill, have better persistency, right? His ability to learn what was working and not working, which is just really learning at his basic, level, was truly what made the difference. Like there's no secret sauce in knowing how to sell more effectively. You just got to get reps. Like genuinely, you just got to get reps. Now, here's the thing. I'm putting this in sales skill because to me, I guess you could call it sales skill or like grit, but man, I just want to talk about his schedule. Like he talks about it, but like I want to really break down his schedule. So this dude was calling from 8 a.m. to sometimes like 9 p.m. I want to say sometimes. Like I would talk to him and he was calling like 9, 10 p.m. because he was calling leads from like the West Coast. Right. And you know what I noticed is like most of the agents that are really crushing it, that's what they do. Like they do what it takes. Like their mindset is, it has to work or it has to work. That's what I live by. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna get it done. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's like, okay, cool. I have a job. Like, these people need life insurance. My job's to get it to them. It's not to complain. It's not to whine. It's not to get them the most that I think's best. It's just to get them coverage. And the thought process to me, I guess maybe I shouldn't say this is sales skill. I'll change this. I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry. I just got to go back. Let's gotta go back to mindset. I keep bringing up the same things, but it's like I'm trying to give you guys like different ways to say it. But like I'm honest. Like, it's like mindset. Schedule is mindset. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna work from this time till it gets done. But when you understand that it's like client priority, what that means is like this is about the client, not me. So many agents get this wrong and they lose out on so much money because if you really cared about the client, you would do whatever it took to figure out the best ways to serve the people that you have. You would not make excuses. You would not say you can't sell people over a certain age, which frustrates the mess out of me. You would just figure it out. I have closed people for mortgage protection that are 82 years old. 82. 82. Was it mortgage protection? No. Did I tell them it was mortgage protection? No. Guess what I told them it was? I said, this is a life insurance policy designed to do this. The problem is agents are so lazy that you won't do what it takes to actually help the people. Dude, your job as a life insurance agent is to help people find ways to protect their family. Keep it simple. Not worry about what the premium is, not worry about how much money you're going to make, not worry about what carrier you're using, not worry about all these things. Your job is to help people. If you do not think about helping people, you're not going to make a lot of money. The easiest way to make a lot of money is to figure out how to help people. The more people you help, the more money you can make. It's super simple. It doesn't matter what you do, what walk of life you're in. If you help more people, you make more money. Just simple. But you don't start with saying, I want to make a lot of money. You start with saying, I want to help people. Hey, I want to help people. My job is to help people. All I want to do is help people. If I can just find more people to help, money will come to me. It's simple. It's not, oh, I want to make a lot of money, so I'm going to go do these leads and I want to do insurance. And that's why a lot of people just suck. They get tons of chargebacks. They get out the game because at the end of the day, they're just so focused. And the thing is, like, I was there. I was literally there. The unfortunate thing is I didn't really change my mindset until the end of my career, but I was there. And I know very clearly, like, every client that I was just like, I'm trying to like get a deal versus the clients I tried to help, the clients I was trying to get a deal, guess what? They charged back. They weren't really that good. I probably didn't close them in the best way. Like, the people that I wanted to help, they're still in the books. I still get my payments, right, from them, from their policies. And so it's like, it starts there. But if you're not client priority, and what that goes back to schedule and mindset is this, like, most people are like, well, I'm done working at 6:00 because I don't want to call that late. It's like, okay, so if you have a client that's in Arizona and they're 3 hours behind you and it's 6:00, that means it's 3. So theoretically, if it's 3:00 and they're at work and you don't call them to get them insurance, but you were assigned as their client and they need it, then you're really doing them a disservice because they really want it, but you're going to say you can't meet them because it's 3:00 and they better be available when you're available. Like, that's selfish to me. It's like, okay, you're not willing to do what they like. That's their situation, man. Like, they're working a job, they're providing for their family. You don't want to sit down and like find a way to call them or, hey, like, map your day out. Hey, I can only meet at 9:00. The people that are crushing it, I see they close deals all day, all night, at all time. Like, it doesn't matter when, they get it done. Like, I don't really know any other way to explain it except for like they just get it done regardless of when. It just gets done. So, like, knowing that was his mindset when we first started, I was like, yeah, this dude's going to crush it. So the moment I see somebody, I know who's going to be good and who's not. It doesn't take me long. It doesn't take me much. If you start complaining and you're like, oh, I can't do this because of this, like, you're not going to be good, dude. I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to be good. You make excuses. Like, if you want to be great, this is what great people do. They don't whine. They don't complain. They just put in work and they think about the client. You say, hey, this person's mortgage protection, they're 75. I can't get them coverage. That's ignorant. That's disrespectful. And that's ignorant. So because they're 75, they can't get life insurance. Stop trying to think that they need to get term. That's your problem. If you thought that they just need to get life insurance, you would do better. The problem is you think they're supposed to get term. And that's the issue. It's like, they're not supposed to get term. They're not going to get term. Does that mean they don't deserve to get life insurance for their family? Are you the person telling me that they don't deserve that because they can't get it? It's like, then they're like, well, they just thought they were going to get their home mortgage changed. Duh. Like, they don't know that. Your job, that is your job. Your job is to tell them why it's more important based on what they said. They filled out the form because they have a need. They want to make sure their family is protected. Forget all the mortgage. Like, At the end of the day, if you ask them what they really wanted, they wanted to make sure that if they die, their family's not left with their mortgage payment or they can live in a house. So you tell them, hey, we have two options. They can live in a house or they can downsell. Do you think they'd want to downsell? Yes, they want the money. Fine. Now it's your job to figure out, okay, there's a few ways that we can do this, Sadie. We can take this and do this, or we can take this and do this. Which one do you want? You don't even talk about pricing. You just explain concepts before you get there. Because the moment that you see that they're 75, you should not go into the call thinking that they're going to cover their mortgage. That's the problem, right? Like you're just assuming rather than asking questions. If you ask questions, you get clarity. Oh, hey, have you ever had a heart attack, stroke, COPD? Yeah, I had some. Cool. They're it's cooked. Don't even think about term. Like that should be completely out of your mind. Now you start prepping questions after you do the medical questions. But see, most people don't think like that. They're just like, oh yeah, man, like this person wants to cover them because like you're not controlling the conversation, which goes back to like you haven't put the time in to figure out the skills. You're not prioritizing the client, you're prioritizing yourself. Why? Because it's easier. That's being selfish. Taking the easy way out is selfish. Saying like, hey, you know what? I'm not actually gonna put this client in the best position possible. I'm gonna do what's easy for me. I just want to write them up a term, make, put them at $150 a month, make my little, grand and get out of here. Rather than saying, I'm gonna send the call to the client for 50 minutes and figure out what's going on. And the crazy thing is you're gonna make more money. Why? Because you're gonna put together an equity protection plan that's gonna cost them more, right? But then it's gonna actually help them. They're actually gonna get approved, and then you're not gonna do some finessey stuff that's not gonna pay out. Because the reality is if you put somebody that's 65 in a term policy and like they don't pass away in 15 years, so they turn 80 and they're still here, which they probably will be, and they don't pass away, guess what? Now they don't have life insurance. Now you want them to go get a final expense plan and they had all this other stuff. They still have their mortgage. They need to take care of their family. And guess what? Now they got to go apply for life insurance at 80, right? And then it's $400 a month to get 20. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, so you're not really doing what's best for them. Because if you're over 70, honestly, if you're over like 65, getting a term policy, it makes no sense. Like it doesn't actually make sense. Like there's nothing about that makes sense. Because then you start looking at the fine writing, like the companies that do provide that, they're like, I'm not trying to be rude. Some of them are pretty sketch. Like, so it's like if you're doing that and you're getting them signed up because you're saying that you want people that are younger and it's easier for you to do it, then you're not really doing what's best for them. The same thing applies for IUL. If you think that you're just gonna, hey man, look, I'm going to teach you how to grow your money tax free, and you're selling them simplified issued IULs. It's like, bro, that's not what they want. So you're not really doing right by them. Same thing if you do final expense and you're just like, yeah, this is like $5,000 of coverage, and you tell them that it's going to like protect their burial. They're like, no, like you're lying to them. Like you need to tell them the truth. Like, hey, this is all you can afford, but here's what's going to do. You're going to get cremated. This is what it's going to do. Like just be honest. But the thing is, you're not really doing what's best for them. So you're just like, I just need to get this money. I just need to get paid. It's like that's wrong. So if you want to be successful and build something like how Scotty did, or start an annuity, get into the annuity game, like you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. But more importantly, you got to have a tight schedule. You got to prioritize the client. You got to continue to improve your skills. But that goes back to mindset. I hate to do it, but this whole thing has been simple. We went through his journey. We talked about the jump going from lead type to lead type, which I talk about all the time, because at the end of the day, like your job should be to, not your job, you should want to get leverage as you continue to go forward. You got your three options. You can keep doing what you're doing and know that there's another opportunity. You can go all in and completely bet on yourself and look at it like you're doing mentorship, or you can slowly wane. One of the three options, that's it. There's no other way to do it. You either choose to do one of those three, right? Because even if you don't choose to do anything, you're doing one. If you really bet on yourself and you're like, hey, look, dude, just screw that. Let's just go all in. I'll pay the money. I just want to learn it as fast as possible because you understand how speed works. Success loves speed. You do option two. If you want to, do option three. But if anything, please do option two or three. Do one of them, right? Like in a perfect world, everybody would do two because you'd get there faster, but that's fine. I already went through this. Well, everybody can't do that. Next thing, investment, how you look at your investment. You're buying leads, but you're also learning. You're paying for that. That's essentially those three things I just went through. The time investment, only you know that. So that's you versus you. You know when you're in the car, or when you're walking around, or when you're at the gym, or when you're on the plane, or when you're just chilling, like what are you listening to and what are you doing with your time? Are you sitting here like playing a video game? Are you, on Instagram all day? Or are you listening to sales trainings? Are you listening to successful agency owners walking through their process? Like which of those are you actually doing? And then from there, Are you investing in creating a system? And that's another caveat I wish I would have said earlier. Like, it's not just investment, but it's also like, what system are you creating? Like, are you creating a system? Because, like, then once again, if you want to gain leverage, you got to be able to teach other people to do what you do. So, like Scotty, for example, he has a school community. It's dope. It's completely built out. He has a ton of modules, a lot of information for people. If you don't have that, you're not creating. There's no system being created. So it's like, it's okay. But once you do all this work over all these years, excuse me, voice cracking. Once you do all this work over all these years, guess what? Somebody's going to ask you, hey, man, can I learn to do what you do? And guess what you're going to tell them? Well, I just did all this work. And you have no process for them to go through on top of you having a system specifically for your leads. So they're one and the same, right? Like that's important if you're trying to grow, right? And then going back to mindset, it's your schedule and then prioritizing the client. If you always prioritize the client and if you have a tight schedule where you say, my job is to help them regardless of where they're at. So if they are, in Hawaii and I got to call them at 10 o'clock, I just got to call them at 10 o'clock, man. If they're in California, like that's the thing is like I hear people, they're like, yo, I actually want to get leads from Cali because then I can work longer hours. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be great. Right? Like simple. But it's like people that are clocking out at 7 and like just making excuses. And it's like that's why the leads don't, people are like, the leads don't work. No, they do. Every lead works. It doesn't matter where you're at. There's only two reasons the lead doesn't work. And I talked about this in my video. Number one, you don't necessarily understand what the client is seeing. So you're creating what we call friction between you and the client when you first make the intro call, which then means you never get an opportunity to close, right? The second thing is that you lack the skills to actually close people. That's it. You buy better leads and work with better companies so you can curve that down, remove friction, and have a higher intentful client, right? You can't, like, you can pay for training, but you got to put time in to get better at selling. Like, you can watch all the videos that you want, but you got to get them reps in. So like one of them you can pay for it and you can make it clear that gets you through the intro. Okay, that's done. I got leads that know what it is when they filled it out. Great. That's only half the battle. It's 50%. Another 50% is here. Most agents are complaining or because they just don't do one of the two. They have wrong expectations. So it's like two is embodied in a lot of things I just said about doing what's best for the client. The more you think through, how can I help this person? If you just prioritize, how can I help this person and took all the commission and everything out, you would close way more deals just on that alone with no sales training. Cause then you would think in your mind, like, okay, I sell life insurance, screw the terms, through the whole life. Like I sell life insurance that's permanent, that will be there. And I sell life insurance that's temporary. Okay, this person's this age. What should I sell them? Okay, that makes sense. If they don't pass away, then what do? They have to apply for insurance again because everybody needs it when they die. Cool. They wanted it because they need it for when they die. Cool. They wanted it because they need it for when they die. Cool. They wanted it because they need it for when they die. All right. So what plan am I going to put them in? All right. They told me they don't really care and they will sell the home. Right. Okay. They told me they want to keep the home. Okay. It's like, okay, so how long does it take to refinance? Cool. Like you start looking these things up. Okay, cool. They told me they want to grow their money tax free. All right, here are their options. Okay, well, they don't have any life insurance, so maybe I'll tell them they can't get this now because they need to get some more money, but we can apply down the line. But then we should probably focus on this because we can get this. At least it will take care of this. And then we'll also get a little bit of cash value, but it won't be crazy. We can take the rest of it and invest it somewhere else, right? Like if I actually cared about them, that's all I would say. I wouldn't try to sell them on anything. I'd be like, okay, this is what you told me. Here's what you want. Here are your options on how to get it. Which one do you want to apply for so we can see if you get approved? And if you do get approved, this is going to start. So I'm just letting you know, like, this is how it works. Simple. But if you don't do any of those things, you'll never get there. And the thing is, I can sit here and say that to you all you want. You can watch all of our videos. You can go back and watch William. You can watch all the successful people. But until you do all these things, you're not going to grow a big business for annuities. You're not going to grow a big business for IULs, advanced market, or whole life. You're not going to grow a big business in general, not in the life insurance space. Maybe another industry. This is all I do. So I can't really speak to anything else. From mentors and other people, I guess they said it applies the same with the mindset, but all this stuff is applicable. So wherever you're at, you need to make that decision. You need to jump in. You need to figure out how to do these things. If you can do these things successful, you'll be good. Like you'll be good. Super straightforward. So as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I hope this video helped. I always say this: if you are an individual agent or agency owner and you want to potentially work with us, you want this for you and your agents, kind of a full breakdown of where you're at, what you're looking to do. If you want to be held accountable and you don't want to make excuses, if you're an agency making over $150,000 to $200,000 a month and you want us to come in and partner, please go to our website, agentleadlab.com, and apply. I'm not trying to sell you. I let everybody know, like, our packages, they start at $5K and they go up. Okay. So I'm like, don't waste your time. If you think that you're going to get on here and like, whatever, like I don't, and then transparently, I'm not trying to work with everybody. It's priced like that for a reason because some people just aren't fit for it, which is fine. And if that's the case, the beautiful thing is I run a company that has two sides. So I'm not sitting here trying to tell you, yeah, man, you suck. You don't like, no, no, no. I'm not that person. I still want to work with you. I want to help you make money. I want you to get there. So I have another side of my business, which is called Lead Lab CRM, and we just focus on leads. It's really simple. We've been doing that, but basically a year and a half ago, we just decided to like brand them differently because to me, they're really two separate entities. One is more focused on like partnership. One is the original name Agent Lead Lab, which is just the reason I came up with that is because I wanted to find a place. I noticed once I was working because I didn't have a name when I was working with like when I first started with Scotty way back when. Ironically, I decided on a name. I went to Canva. I made a little basic image. I put the little banner. I was like, let's just roll with this. And it was like, yo, it's like a laboratory because like I really work with people and I create custom setups for each person. And that's kind of like where the name came from. Lead Lab CRM is like, okay, you're just buying leads. Like you're buying leads. It still kind of has that little bit of that flavor. But then the CRM point is like, everybody knows what a CRM is. So it's like, okay, you go here and you buy leads. So I kind of broke it in half so people understood like this is the lead side, this is the partnership model side, right? And like you're gonna see a lot of branding on both ends, but just understand that's what it is. So if you're somebody who is an agency owner, like go to the website. If you do those credentials, if you think this might be a good fit, cool. I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm gonna ask you questions. The application gives me super clarity. Like if you're not willing to invest, that's fine. That's fine too. Just don't go to the website. Like if we're gonna get on a call, it's gonna be basically because we just need to figure out how much it's gonna cost you. Specifically, that it's like the bottom is 5. I'm just letting you know. So like it might be more depending on your agency, but we'll be very customized. We'll talk about like kind of what we could do and how we would work with you and as we continue to scale. And then on the other end, if you want leads, we got dollar leads up to $55 leads. And I'm not trying to sell you here. I'm just letting you know, like, these are your options. If not, and you just like the content, please keep watching. We'll love, for comments and feedback. I try to do these as much as I can, throughout the week and record these. It's like my opportunity to kind of say what I want, how I want, and really express what I'm seeing. And I give you guys real life examples. Like I'm not on here making these things up. This is like, I picked a case study today. But I also referenced a client that I was literally like I started working with yesterday. And this was on our sales call, right? I just walked into the process like, here are your options. Is kind of what you can look through. Which one do you want to do? Because like you obviously don't want to do the first one. That's why you're on the call. And that's how we got to that point. So hope that helps. Please drop comments, questions, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I will see you guys next time. Hope everybody has an amazing Thanksgiving. And I will see you all next week. Appreciate you. Peace.